Trekcast.
Who's that?
Spock's head. Got it.
Spock's head. Spock never said no to a paycheck, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you mean save it for the show? Come on, you're not going to include...
We recorded the whole... I've been recording the whole thing, so it was recorded.
It's fine. It's fine, man. Come on, we're not fooling anybody.
No, we're not. Wait, what does your mug say?
It says way more exciting than a bird or a plane on that side. Yeah. And I told my wife, I said, if I'm doing this, I'm going to be slurping for 40 minutes. I don't care.
Yeah.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice. Very nice.
So to all the listeners,
deal with it.
Yeah, there's that.
That's how that goes.
All right, let's phone this thing in.
We'll probably
I
do a week off.
What's that?
I said we'll probably do a week off.
Yeah,
I thought this was the week off.
Yeah.
Kind of feels that way.
Well, because my wife asked me this morning. She said, "Do you have the podcast today?" And I said, "I don't think so." And I went through the chat, and it was Daniel's on the bridge again. Cool.
Yeah.
And it was hey, we should do this before the lockdown's over. And it was like, yeah, we should. But there was no.
Yeah.
But it's cool. It's cool. I'm here.
Yeah. Lockdown will be over here by the end of next week. So next weekend it'll be done.
They just canceled school for the rest of the year here. Kids are not going back.
Oh yeah, we knew that a month ago. Here, they've been doing online school the whole time.
Oh no, we've been doing online schooling the whole time, but they didn't officially cancel the school year until last week.
Wow, that seems kind of late for your area.
Yeah, I don't know.
I've heard that they knew this like a month ago that they were going to do school closures, but they're slowly been eking out deadlines, so then that way people don't freak out.
Yeah. I don't know.
Over here, everything's starting to reopen.
Yeah.
Because Idaho doesn't care.
You're still a little quiet, Daniel, just so you know. I'm not sure
is this better?
Nope.
How about this?
Yes.
A little better, yeah.
Okay, that's better? All right.
Yep. You're just going to eat the mic today.
Okay, no, that's
I'm not sure
fine.
why. It's weird how 1 week to the next, it's like...
Yeah, I don't adjust my settings either.
I have to all the time.
Yeah.
In fact, I almost forgot to put the Star Trek poster back up because if I take that down, I've got the hexagon stuff there, so I've got different things I put up for different times.
Right.
So
how about if I do this? If I just turn up my gain, does that work?
Nope.
Can you hear? No.
Nope.
Okay, so that's so weird. Okay.
Yeah.
How do I sound?
You sound fine.
Everybody getting that?
Yeah.
Dan's in a mood this morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, and before we go any further, I just need to put it out there that he was murdered. It was murder.
Tuvix, yeah.
It was murder.
Murder most foul.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How's the smeller? You smelling yet?
Nothing.
Really?
Nothing.
Jeez,
I'm finally yeah. It's since at least Easter, possibly before then.
Yeah.
I was able to trace it back to Easter, but I don't know if you remember, but last Friday I went to get retested.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I got my results last Sunday, and it came up that I was still positive weeks and weeks and weeks later.
Whoa.
Is that because you have dead virus still in you? Is that why? Because I know I've read that somewhere.
Nobody knows.
Yeah.
Nobody knows. And when the county health department called me Monday to say, hey, we got the results that you're still positive, so you're quarantined for 7 days. I laughed on the phone. I was like, are you kidding me? I was off quarantine 2.5 weeks ago, but now crazy. I'm back on quarantine. This is nonsense.
Yeah.
I said, and quarantine from when? 7 days from when?
Yeah.
Well, 7 days from the the positive test. I said, okay, well, that was 3 days ago. She says, yeah, so really 4 more days. So I'm like, all right, whatever.
So you're just off for the week, basically.
I mean, I've been off anyway. They haven't, since I got sick, they haven't sent me back to work. So I've just been home. But I called my superiors and told them, and then I said, I'm just going to get tested every Friday until I come up negative, because, you know, enough with this guessing game bullshit.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So Friday, 2 days ago, I went again, and they went deeper than they did the last time. Oh man, they were balls deep in my nose. It was ridiculous.
Did they buy you Chinese first or something?
Nothing.
You're that kind of girl.
Nothing. Didn't even put his arm around me first. He just went straight in.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it was bad. It was like, and he got it in there, and he's twirling it, and I said, take it out, please. Take it out, please. Take it out, please. And he was just disregarding what I was saying. And you know,
my God.
at some point you have effectively rescinded consent.
Yeah.
You know, and it's no longer a medical procedure; it's an assault. But I said, take it out, please. Take it out, please. Take it out. And I got to the point where I said, take it out, or I'm taking it out. And that's when he pulled it out. But I got the results.
Got nose raped.
Yeah, I did. I did.
That's no
I got
good,
nose
man.
raped.
Yeah.
I got nose raped. But I got the results this morning. And for the first time in a month, right? Because April 1st was the first time in a month. I am COVID negative.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
yeah. So if we have like a clapping sound effect or something, feel free to put that in there, because I'm pretty jazzed about it.
I would be too. Yeah, that's great. That's great.
Well, hopefully that means within a few days your smell starts to return.
I hope so.
Or gradually or something. I'm not sure what it is with that virus that causes the smell issue, but
I read about it. It was once I read about it, I wish I hadn't read about it.
Yeah.
I had assumed, you know, me not being a man of science, I had assumed that it was, you know, something in the mucous membrane or whatever, and come to find out it's neurological.
Oh, wow.
It's neurological. It's a brain issue. It's a signal loss somewhere.
Oh, wow.
That was, pardon my French, pretty fucking scary. To read that this thing is, you know, affecting my brain. So I got really excited last night because it was only for like a nanosecond, but I could swear I smelled a fart coming out of my daughter.
Yeah.
And I had never been so excited to smell a fart
right
than last night. And you know, it was just a second and it was gone. But it was like a glimmer of hope for me that, you know, the equipment's still there. The equipment's still there. It still works. We just got to get it running again.
Well, you got to regrow those connections pretty much.
Yeah.
They probably just got trashed, you know, and they just need to get regrown or healed and not be constantly affected by it. So, but yeah, that's some scary stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, hopefully he comes back soon then.
Yeah. So did Leonard cover that at all in his video?
No, he didn't.
No, but he covered a lot of stuff.
He did cover a lot. He did cover a lot, but it's we'll get into that when we get into the topic. But it's really funny watching that with what's going on right now.
There's a lot of clips that fit for today.
They do, but it's also just it's comical.
Yeah,
it's just comical because nothing they were predicting. Anyway, we all know Y2K wasn't a problem, but yeah. So anyway, it was just funny.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Which has a lot of parallels to today. Like, you know, how much of what we're doing to ourselves is warranted or an overreaction, and
this is why I wanted to review it. Not. I figured.
It does have a lot of parallels. 20 years later, it has a lot of parallels.
Mm-hmm.
So, but anyway,
should we get to the news?
Yeah, let's get right into the news.
Attention all hands, it's time for Star Trek news.
All right. Like that.
Yeah, we're just
Oh
missing
my
the.
Oddly enough, it
those-
helps a lot in editing because I'm like, oh, that's where the news clip goes.
I
for,
bet
for
it does.
those,
Yeah.
for those listening to the audio version, not the video
Yeah.
version,
Uh-huh.
Daniel apparently just transported into the Trekcast newsroom.
Yeah.
Indeed.
You're
Oddly
missing
enough,
a little bit. Yeah, you're missing a
Yeah.
little bit if you're not watching the YouTube lately with Daniel's constant screen switching. It's pretty great.
Oh, I've got
He-
something for later. You're gonna love it.
Oh,
He
geez.
went out and bought a bunch of different analog clocks, and he's got them on the wall. One says New York, one says Los Angeles,
Now you've got to get
Moscow.
now you've got it. Well, no, one should say Ryza, one should say Deep Space Nine. Once that's what you need to have as your background. There you go.
Because I'm Mexican, one would say Raisa, one would say Raza.
Oh my God, Daniel, I have to ask you something.
Yeah, go.
As a Mexican American,
See.
the memes that come out with the Mexican word of the day.
Oh,
do you
yeah,
find
yeah.
those? Do you find those humorous?
I find him really humorous. I also
Okay.
think that I might be related to that guy. I'm not sure. I definitely.
I saw it today, and the word was Biden, like Joe Biden,
Yeah.
and Joe Biden was like sniffing that guy's ear.
Oh yeah.
And the word said, "This guy is biting my ear."
I have an uncle who kind of talks like that,
Oh,
Yeah.
geez.
and to the point that it's a family joke that we have to ask my aunt whatever the hell he's saying because
Yeah.
nobody understands him. Yeah.
I have Italian relatives that they speak English. I'm told they
Yeah.
speak English. I don't know what they're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
All right.
funny.
So I've got some little bit of news facts about the upcoming season 3 of Discovery. First one comes from slashfilm.com, and Jonathan Frakes is saying season 3 will have a big tonal shift. What he's saying is Michael Burnham has found a new core, not to mention a new partner in crime. So again, there's going to be a big tonal shift on that show, less driven by pain and guilt of her past, and more of a magical reunification of the Discovery crew wherever she went off to. God knows that she went through it as the Red Angel. So two things coming back together is very much the theme and how grateful it is for everyone and what's next. So there's going to be a lot of action and adventure and not so much pain is what they're saying. I've also heard it's going to be more hopeful and an overall more positive season. And also to
I've
go
heard
along-
they're unshackled by canon. I heard
They
that
are.
somewhere.
at last.
Well, they've got 11 days to premiere the first episode of season 3. Otherwise, my CBS subscription lapses.
It's going to
Finally.
lapse.
Yeah.
It's going to lapse. Also, going along with that, Wilson Cruz, aka Dr. Culpepper, gave an update as to what's going on. He says, trust me, no one is hesitating to give you a release date. As soon as they can, they will. Everybody is working hard on post-production as we speak. Patience, Grasshopper.
Is
And
he
then when
actually like working in post production? Like, why is he the spokesperson for the update of when it's going to come out? I mean, I'm just asking for a
he's been
friend,
doing-
not
he's
me.
been
I'm not a
doing
dick
pretty
like
much-
that.
Yeah, he's been doing pretty much daily Instagram lives.
Yeah,
So it comes up a lot. That's why,
yeah.
yeah. And even one of the post-production supervisors chimed in along with it and said, yeah, we're working on it. It's just taking a little bit longer because everybody's at home. So it's harder to coordinate all the effects and everything. So they are working on it, but still no release date. There was a rumored release date of June or July, but that's not been confirmed. So
No, it hasn't. But there's 3 separate sources now saying late June, possibly early July, is what they're
And-
targeting for.
I've
To
heard
start
that that's
release.
what they were originally targeting for before everything.
Really?
But now they don't know for sure.
Huh.
So that's where that's
So-
coming.
Refresh my memory,
Yeah.
because I've only watched Discovery once. I've never rewatched it. He's the one who died and came back.
Yeah.
He came back through the
mycelial network, rebuilt him basically.
Yes.
He's a fungus now.
He's
okay.
yeah.
So
He's
he has.
Yeah,
he
there
has,
you go.
So he has a brand new body.
Yeah.
It's his old mind in a brand new body.
Mhm.
Have we seen that somewhere?
Indeed.
Where have we seen that recently?
It's the same writers.
Did I not tell you that Alex Kurtzman loves to recycle his crap?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you've told us a long time ago. What was it? The Magic
Blood and
Magic Blood. Yep.
And Mysteries of the Mind for no reason.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So Jonathan Frakes comments about that.
You're saying it wrong.
Frakes.
Jonathan Franks.
Oh, Jonathan Frakes is what I said.
No, Franks. Like Franks and Beans. I'm making fun of Daniel. He says it wrong every time.
Oh, okay. I'm sitting here going, am I in a parallel? Did the Mandela effect just happen to me? Because I know it's Frakes.
Star Trek and Jonathan Franks.
Jonathan Frankfurters. I mean, seriously, the Mandela effect is real sometimes. It freaks me out. It's like I'm sitting there.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, could I really? I'm wrong? There's no way I'm wrong. I like, in your head, you know you're right. Anyway, so you freaked me out for a second. But no, Frakes comments on that, really, and a few things that we've heard over the last, 3-4 months now, and their little tidbits of trailer that they recently put out, which was nothing, but whatever. Really kind of leads you to believe that season 3 is really going to be a tale of two stories. That you're going to see some of Discovery and the crew and what they're going through, and you're going to see Burnham by herself with a new love interest, because they have to do that.
They have to.
Doing her thing by herself, and it takes the entire season for the two of them to hook up.
Awesome. Cannot wait.
But here's the bright spot of that, Dan. If you think about that for a moment.
Please tell me about the bright spot.
Here's the bright spot. It at least gives the writers an opportunity, if they do it that way, to give us some more one-offs, real contained beginning and end stories that maybe build to the overall season, don't necessarily have to be seen in order to know what the whole season was going to be like, all the other Discovery seasons so far. So
bright.
Yeah.
So very bright.
How many times have we said, "Oh, they have opportunities to do this or that"?
I know.
They don't.
I know. Well, hey, I'm trying to be Mr. Optimistic, Chad. Right now, I'm trying to look forward to it, because I got to have something.
Chad Prime. What's going on here?
Yeah.
Prime.
I took my medication for the first time. Okay.
There you go.
I'm kidding.
There you go.
So.
Also from IGN, Jonathan Franks is saying that he will return to Picard season 2 to direct. So he's going back to the director's chair. Not sure if he's going back to the captain's chair yet, but he will be there.
Along with Geordi. And no Beverly.
I really want Geordi to wear the space pimp hat. I don't know why, but I would love that.
I just want to see kept ships again and still failing miserably. Like, that's something he just never.
No. Geordi deserves better than that.
Yeah.
I want to see, call me old fashioned, call me corny. I want to see Geordi with a wife, 2.5 kids, a cat, a dog, a house with a picket fence, a command of his own, whatever he wants. I want the best for him.
Yeah, he can have a house. He can have a house that he goes to every day, anywhere he wants, because you can beam all the way across the universe now. So,
Would it be weird if Geordi had a son and he named his son Data?
No, that would be weird.
Oh, I kind of think that'd be kind of cool.
Or Spot.
Yeah.
I think if he had a cat named Data.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Naming your kid after
a robot.
A machine. Yeah, that's.
This is my son Data, and here's my other son Johnny 5 is alive.
These are my kids. That's Data. That's Johnny 5. Ed 209.
Yeah, exactly.
There's the T1000 over there in the corner.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's on his video games again.
BB-8, get over here. I want you to meet somebody.
Exactly.
C-3PO, shut up.
Oh man.
Oh
That's
boy.
awesome. All right. And our last news story comes from cinemablend.com. And John Belushi's last day on Earth was apparently spent on the
saw
set of
that.
Star Trek 2. Yeah.
Yeah, we all saw that.
Yeah. So somebody posted it in our Facebook group. So,
They did. Yep. I
Yeah.
think they posted it this morning. So good for you guys. You beat us to the punch.
Yeah. So basically, what's going down is it's been revealed recently that Belushi spent some of his last few hours on the set of Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. He was there. Doesn't sound like he was a super fan, but he was there to perfect his Shatner impression.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why he was there, and he wanted to hear William perform and kind of put that down. And sadly, he then passed away that evening of a drug overdose. But yeah,
A Super Bowl of all things.
a Super Bowl, yes. Which I don't know what that is, but that doesn't sound
No,
super.
I have no.
It's a whole lot of cocaine.
Is
Oh,
it,
okay,
yeah.
super.
That was Scott Boders who posted that in the group this morning, by the way, and I mispronounced
okay.
his last name because I'm just that way.
Yeah.
Who was it?
It's probably Scott Bouters, Bouters.
Oh no! It's pronounced Franks.
Yeah, it's Franks. Scott Franks.
All right, let's go back to Trekcast.
And that's it. That's all the stories.
Daniel's like, I'm done.
I'm done. You two,
I'm
done
not gonna
now.
pay enough
you
for this
goofballs.
abuse.
There's Paddington.
Oh, there
Yeah.
we go, Paddington.
You
Yeah.
are a Paddington bear.
Indeed. I have to, have to have my friends.
It does look like, as we get into the feedback section here, it does look more and more possible that STLV is going to be canceled.
Yep. I really think that's what's going to happen.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
because they're not going to get things opened up in Vegas in their staged plan that they're rolling out. There's no way that they would have conventions and want thousands and thousands and thousands of people in one convention site when they're only allowing 10 people in a freaking bar at a time. So
Yeah.
by that time frame. So hasn't been officially canceled yet, but it looks like it might.
It's a good thing I'm all set, though. So we're good.
I don't think Dan's noticed that yet.
No, not yet.
Now he's noticing it. What is that? What is that behind him?
Just a bunch of toilet paper.
You're muted.
Who, me?
No, Dan.
Oh. Yeah, I don't
now
know.
Now he's frozen.
So, should we get to feedback?
Yeah, go to the feedback. Well,
Hailing frequencies. Open.
Dan's working out his technical issues.
Perfect. Yeah, so I got one email into the Trekcast email, and this comes from Rick. Rick is a listener from northern Germany. He says, I really enjoy the podcast. I probably listened to it even if I had no interest in Star Trek. He did say that he has a Star Trek TNG pinball machine from 1993 in his basement.
Nice.
That's a link to it. He says, back then, some of the original actors recorded speech for the machine, saying things like player one, multi-ball, traditional pinball sound effects. He says each actor got a special pinball machine for their own home and were allowed to record some phrases that were installed only on their machines. One of the original programmers released these recordings, and I have installed them into his own machine.
Nice.
He's also sent them to us. So we have those sound effects.
Really?
I'm gonna attach them to the end of the show so everybody can hear them. So after the close, you'll hear all the effects. I'll just dump them all in. They're hilarious. Because they're only for their own machines. The best I think is Q's, because he literally names his sons by name and tells them like, "Hey, stop messing around," or "Get to do your homework," and it's pretty great.
Oh, that's hysterical.
Yeah. Q is in there, Jordy's in there, Beverly's in there, Patrick Stewart's in there, and his are pretty funny because he's referring to himself in the third person. Like, Patrick, you're so great. Yeah.
Have you guys ever played that game?
I haven't played this one, no.
No.
Yeah, no, I've played it. My dad when I was in high school, my dad owned a pool hall, and we had an arcade to the side, and that was one of the machines. That and the Addams Family pinball machine. Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, so I used to play both of those for hours.
I love
So
pinball.
are you pretty good at shooting pool, Dan?
I'm all right.
Yeah.
I'm all right. First rule, I used to teach a lot of people how to play pool because people come in, they, didn't really know and they wanted to learn. And the first thing I would tell them is, first rule of playing pool, never say, watch this. Always say, see what I did there?
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Chad, are you any good at pool?
We had a pool table in the basement growing up as a kid, and I used to shoot pool hours a day, all the time.
Nice.
Thought it was pretty good. Went to college, played every Friday night in a tournament. Never won a damn thing. Never got in the top 10. Never even came close to getting in the top 10. In fact, most nights I would leave after the first game. I was that bad compared to everybody else in college. And since then, folks got rid of the pool table, moved, all that stuff. But I play when I can, but I'm so rusty. It's not the kind of thing you can just pick up like riding a bike. It's not that at all.
Yeah.
So when I can, it's one of those things where it comes back after about 6-7 games in a row. Then I'm warmed up. It takes that many. Then I'm warmed up and I'm ready to go. I mean, I'm all right. But that'll be fun, Dan, for us to play pool against each other when we can.
Yeah.
That'd be good. We'll have to record that or something, or do some photos from it or something for the Facebook.
I've got these little T-Rex arms, so it's hard for me to shoot.
We get the bridge. It's the little bridge.
Oh, I have to use the bridge. I do have to use it.
Yeah. That's funny. All
All
right.
right.
Let's see on the feedback side. One more thing. We've got the coffee account. I had another donation to the coffee account here in the last week. It was Daryl.
Thanks, Daryl.
Another good donation. Some coffees. Appreciate it. He says, Military Assault Command Operations Mako. I would like to see a miniseries featuring this group. Takes place during the Earth-Romulan War. No Starfleet personnel. And see how they do their operations. That would be kind of an interesting take on... I mean, if anybody's going to do it, it's going to be Kurtzman, right? Because then he could get some magic blood into those Makos and, make them do all kinds of fantastic things.
Don't we kind of have that, and it's called Starship Troopers?
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah. I love Starship Troopers, the first movie. The rest of them were just ridiculous, but the first one's great. So, no, that would be fun. Don't they have I'm pretty sure they wrote a book about Malcolm doing something with the Makos before the first voyage, the first voyage of Enterprise with Archer. I'm pretty sure they wrote a couple of books.
Probably.
But anyway, it's different, obviously, reading it than seeing it. So, Thank you, sir. Appreciate the donation. Keep those coming in, guys.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, STLV or not, that's still going to go towards the stuff we need. So we appreciate it.
Yeah.
Which I don't know, STLV or not, I still got a hankering just to drive to Vegas for a couple of days, look around. I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
I mean, if not, I'm sure there'll be some sort of Star Trek convention somewhere, and we can figure that out. So.
Yeah. Yep. So, all right, that's it for the feedback section.
Yeah,
moving on to the topic.
Well, hold on. Before we get to the topic, I have to do something.
Uh-oh.
Computer, activate the JLH.
The what?
The JLH.
JLH. She doesn't look too happy to be here.
Well,
What's?
He can't see it. It's Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Jennifer Love. I just found a background with her on it. She just popped up.
Just looks all white to me. You look like you're in the Q continuum.
She's over there.
Some of that might be cut off with the way the recording is on Skype, Daniel.
Yeah.
So that might not.
It'll show up on the video recording.
Well,
is there a way I can go full screen with Daniel?
I don't know.
Probably. You probably want to.
Yeah. You might want to.
Your Jennifer's not in the room now.
It's a nice picture. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll have to watch the rerun because I don't know what's up with my phone, but every time I try and do something. Did I?
Yeah.
Oh God.
I've got all sorts of backgrounds, man.
Well,
Yeah.
good. Maybe it'll show up in the snapshot.
Yeah, there you go. All right.
But now I can't see myself. The little box that I'm in is purple, and now Daniel's gone.
I don't know.
Feels like the first time.
Yeah, it sure does.
I've got all sorts, man. I got this one where I'm in a cult. That's kind of nice.
Well, that just is Idaho in general.
Yeah, basically. Basically.
We're doing a bonfire tonight, s'mores and the whole 9 yards. So, in the backyard.
Nice.
Looking forward to it. There you go. You should just be on the holodeck like that.
Yeah, in the holodeck. All right, well
Get it.
let's get to the let's get to the topic.
Yeah.
Talking about Star Trek in this week's topic. Talking about the Star Trek in this week's topic.
Where we kind of reviewed the worst video ever, the Y2K Family Survival Guide, hosted by Leonard Nemoy.
Yeah. I'm not sure I'd call it the worst thing ever, but good Lord, it's hard to watch.
Yeah. This is from 1999. It was a VHS tape that came along with the Y2K Family Survival Guide book. So this is the companion video to go with it. It's about an hour long. I found the whole thing on YouTube, and it's great because even the FBI warning is with it. So,
I know. Isn't that great?
oh, that made me so happy.
I know. I had to laugh so hard at that.
Yeah. This is just a documentary. Nice. Man's taking.
What?
You're just taking screenshots.
I'm not trying to take a screenshot. I'm trying to. I don't know what's.
I don't know,
on with my
man.
thing.
This is the episode we find out that Dan is technically challenged.
It's all good.
That's all right.
So for those of you who don't know what Y2K was, how do you explain it, Chad?
So basically, back in when at the beginning of the computer age, when computers were starting to become not even mainstream, but
This
just
is
way back
before Taylor Swift.
Yeah, this is in the 50s and the 60s when computers were the size of your SUV at this point, and they were starting to be used in mainframes for crunching large numbers, all kinds of things, right? Things we take for granted nowadays, all happening right here. But at any rate, when they were doing that, storage was at a premium. It was a real problem. Storage was an issue, and the number of bytes that something took up was affecting that storage and the speed at which they could calculate. And at that time, everything was at such a premium and so expensive to make, you literally couldn't afford the extra few bytes in terms of the hardware, not just the size, but the cost. So you did everything you could to try to decrease the amount of processing power you would need in your code, as well as the size of the actual compiled code as well. To the point to where they did something really stupid, and they said, hey, on these dates, dates that govern everything, instead of saying the month 04, the date 30, and the year 1960, let's just drop off the 19 because we all know it's 19 whatever, and just leave the last two dates of the year, and forget about the 1900 because by the time 2000 comes around, no one's going to care. This hardware is going to be obsolete. There'll be completely different software, and it won't matter anymore, which is actually kind of a smart idea, except there's no foresight into that at all, because even though things progressed rather quickly, everybody looked at, okay, how was it done the first time? Well, let's do that. And it just got duplicated and duplicated and duplicated. Then people forgot about the issue that would cause with the dropping of the 19 for the year. And that's what started all this. Unfortunately, for the vast majority of people, they never even thought about it. And for those that did, they were kind of laughed at. And for the few that really took it seriously and started working on it, it didn't get very far because it's too pervasive. Everything was like that. By the time you get to 1990, everything is like that, all the way down to microprocessors.
When did you guys become aware of Y2K as an issue?
About a year before.
Yeah.
Okay. Something blew my mind the other day. When I'm in my workshop working on my hobby stuff, I have an old TV in there with a Roku hooked up to it, and I'll just, watch whatever's on, or, put on some Star Trek, listen to something in the background. So I was listening / watching an episode of 21 Jump Street from 1986. 86 or 87.
Okay.
And in the show, the character's in the car, and he has the radio on, and you could hear a news broadcast in the background. And I had to back it up and listen to it because they were talking about Y2K.
Oh, wow.
And this was 1986. And I was like, what?
Huh.
But yeah, so, I wasn't aware of it until I think, probably 98, 99.
Yeah.
But apparently it was a thing in 1986 on 21 Jump Street.
Yeah.
Well, it was a thing that even, and this comes up in this YouTube show too. There's a scientist, a lady actually, back in the late '60s, who worked. Where'd she work for, Daniel? The Department of Defense or Department of Transportation?
One of those. Yeah.
Some government agency, and she started telling people about it because by the time you get into the '70s, the cost of the hardware had come down so much, the storage wasn't as much of a problem. You could have easily started to fix that issue way back then, but nobody took it seriously.
And I think we need to clearly explain that the fear was that because the dates couldn't roll over, everything would just shut down.
Yeah, planes would fall out of the sky. Power grids would shut off.
Yeah.
Cats and dogs living together. I mean, so no, exactly, because, well, if you think about it, if you just think of your interest rate for your mortgage, right? Let's just make it as simple terms. Interest rate for yeah, exactly. That's from Ghostbusters. Yeah. Very good. Boy, he's quick on the draw with those. I can't wait until we get a mixer set up there.
I mean, if we're gonna have an apocalypse, we gotta have Vigo.
Might as well have Vigo.
Carpathian.
Yep. So.
You are like buzzing of flies to him.
But no, if you think about it with your mortgage, it's calculated off of dates and interest rates and all that stuff. So if all of a sudden it thinks it's 1900 instead of 2000, that's a problem, right? And you just kind of layer that on top of everything and just extrapolate how bad that could be. It could be pretty bad. And at the time when they were doing the testing, nothing was passing tests. I don't know what kind of tests they were doing, because what I recall is that night when the clock struck midnight and it was suddenly to the year 2000, nothing happened anywhere ever. Like even in the supposed third world developing nations that were going to have issues, I don't recall anything being. Maybe there were some bugs for a couple of weeks or little issues or hiccups, and then it went away and that was it. There was nothing horrible.
I was working as a loss prevention agent for a clothing chain at the time, and so we had camera systems. What are you laughing at?
I can picture Dan right now. He's working at Rue 21 or Forever 21 or something, and he's walking around, and he's got a bald head even back then, and he's wearing baggy shorts to look like he blends in with the regular. And he's just watching.
Jesus, Chad, it's like you were there, man. But we had, we had closed circuit camera system. And it was all, computerized. And I remember I worked January 2nd. January 1st, we were obviously closed, but I worked January 2nd. And when I came in, the year was fine. It was 0-0 for the year on everything. But it just spazzed out on the month and the day. It was like March something instead of January 2nd. So I just had to go in and dial it back to January 2nd. So, I mean, there was an issue, but it's not like everything exploded at the speed of light or
See, and when this happened, I had just started working in news. Like I started in like November of '99, and I do remember writing a story that there was like a brownout in Northern California that lasted for a few hours, and that was it. Like the day of.
Yeah.
Like, the brownout hit exactly at midnight, just like they had anticipated, but that was it.
Yeah. At the time, I was working for a manufacturing facility in Grandview here outside of Kansas City. Large facility, lots of NC machines. Everything ran off of DOS. There wasn't even like Windows 95. Everything ran off of DOS. And so, I mean, the newest piece of hardware that was in there was probably a 5-year-old, Windows 95 computer that was up front, but we still ran off of DOS. And so nothing was up to date, and everything worked perfectly fine.
Yeah.
It was kind of like a,
You talked about them kicking this can down the road for decades and decades and decades, and unfortunately, I think it's not so much kicking the can down the road. It's like everything. Everything is cost driven. Everything is money.
Yeah.
And if you're if you're a software designer or a hardware manufacturer or whatever, to sell your product that costs twice as much because of all this extra development that you had to do, to sell your product and say, but don't worry, 25 years from now, when everybody else's shit turns off, yours is going to be fine. People think in the short term, they go, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to pay twice as much for the one that's going to be fine in 25 years. Let me pay half that for the one that I know I'm going to use for the next 5 or 10 years. So
it's true. And what's funny about that, after you just said that, in one of the clips in here, they talk about how the Macintosh, starting in 1984, everything that Apple made was all Y2K compliant. They had already gone to the four-year date and everything. In 1984, they were that far ahead of it, and no Mac was going to have an issue. Anything running on Mac, servers or anything else, nothing was going to have an issue. And the same goes, I kind of, because when they said that, I heard that in that clip, I went back and I said, okay, well, was that the same for Next? Because when Steve Jobs left and started doing Next, was all of his computers kind of done the same way? And sure enough, they were. All the Unix stuff was already okay, from what I found anyway. So, there's this weird dichotomy of a half in, half out, and it doesn't take. That was the biggest concern. It wasn't a matter of, okay, well, does the 3 Mile Island going to continue to run? Sure, it's going to continue to run. But what about the water plant down the street and getting our water in here? Is that going to continue to run? What about the incoming electrical grid that we have coming in here that we have to have just in case we need to pull the rods? Because we don't run off of our own power. We do have a little bit of incoming electricity for things just in case. Is that going to run? And what affects this, that, and the other? And there's a story in here about an air traffic control tower that, if you're watching this in 1999 when this thing came out, that probably scared the shit out of you. They had a whole system done, tested in the lab or whatever. It worked perfectly fine. When integrated in with all the other systems throughout the airport and all the other systems across the country, and it totally fried and didn't work at all. And they lost track of a whole bunch of airplanes and had to fix it on the fly.
Jeez.
So it's kind of like I could kind of, watching this, I can kind of understand why adults at the time, which I was not one of them, were a little kind of concerned about it. But what's even funnier with the differences between then and now is most of the time, other than Leonard Nemoy saying Y2K every 32.5 seconds.
Oh, I've got some observations down.
Yeah, there's it's all about the economic impact. Yeah, there could be some problems. We could lose some lives. There could be some death, but the entire conversation was about economic impact. And it's funny how 20 years later, it's not the conversation up until just in the last week has not been about the economic impact. It's been about savings. Exact opposite. It's all about lives. Screw the economic impact. So it's funny that it's just the reverse. It's just the absolute reverse.
So one of the things I have in my observations is one of the interviews says that after Y2K, we're going to enjoy the simpler things in life and have more compassion for our fellow man. And I felt the need to write this down as I watched the video streaming from the internet on my handheld cell phone device, and I'm not even writing it down. I'm using talk to text as I stay in self-isolation.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I don't think that that's true, and I think that I think that the same thing is going to apply to this. I think people are going to get back to normal so fast that it's going to make people's heads spin.
What was the quote? Can you read the quote again?
From the guy?
Yeah.
That people, after Y2K, people are going to enjoy the simple things in life and have more compassion for their fellow man.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was about 10 months later somebody flew a couple planes into some buildings in New York. But,
Isn't it crazy to think about? Isn't it crazy?
But that's none of my business.
Yeah.
Look, I just became a meme.
One thing I'm surprised you haven't pointed out, Chad, is that yourself and Leonard Nimoy are both rocking the quarantine buzz cut in the
Yeah.
video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. He had a buzz cut at the time.
Yeah. Also, I pointed out that Leonard Nimoy is wearing a T-shirt and sports coat, like he's about to do 5 minutes at the Improv.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It is pretty comical. And of course, the funnest part of it is all this quick panned shots of electrical substations or buildings that have electricity flying through them and blinding you with their light. And then, of course, we had to get all these little fly-throughs of miniature versions of microchips. So
I've got.
I was waiting for a sound effect of pew pew in the background. I mean,
I've got. If you take a shot every time somebody says the Department of, you would be dead in 5 minutes.
yeah.
Every time I hear Y2K, I hear Peter Griffith's voice saying, "What is that? Some sort of sex jelly?"
So you had Y2K at the beginning of 2000. You had a year later, a little over a year later, actually. 9/11.
9/11.
During all of that, you had the .com bubble.
You had the housing crisis.
Oh, it was 2 years later, 9/11. I'm sorry, my math.
Yeah,
was
almost
wrong.
2 years. Yeah, you said 10
Y2K
months,
was
but
in
2000.
a year and 10 months.
Yeah. So whatever. Yeah, you had the housing thing happened in 2008, 2007. Yeah, 2008. So no, but I mean, just those first 2 years of the century, it was like that.
Yeah, it was bad.
It was bad, but at the same time, did everything kind of going back to being normal?
I would like to point out that we took Pauly Shore off our movie screens, and all of a sudden everything went down. So,
oh, Pauly Shore.
yeah. Another thing that they bring up in the video, I don't know how far you got, but there's a survival expert.
Yeah,
and he says that FEMA will tell you to put plastic bags in your toilet, poo in the bag, and then toss the bag. He says, but don't do this because the poo will heat up in the plastic bag and will breed disease. So it's just going to spread all sorts of viruses if you poo in plastic bags and bury the bags.
Well,
that's in there. Yeah.
Well, if you don't have running water, if it's gotten to that point to where there is no running water,
don't poo in the house.
Don't poo in the house.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, period.
We've had outhouse technology for years.
Yeah.
Just do that.
And you know what we've had even longer than outhouse technology? Dig a friggin' hole technology.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's called natural composting 101.
Mm-hmm.
Dig a hole and let it sit.
Honestly, in a true apocalypse situation, when we stop eating all of this highly processed garbage that we eat in this country, and we strictly eat like meat and vegetables, there's no breads or anything, there's no sugars or anything. The consistency of people's stool will be a lot different.
Yeah.
You will basically pick it up and chuck it in the woods when you're done with it. Mm-hmm. You won't need a bag.
Not to be too gross.
How are we talking about this? How is this?
I know.
Well, I've got more observations. At one point, Leonard Nimoy is going down the list of potential failures that we will have because of Y2K, and they intercut this within New Year's Eve countdown. So it goes like 10.
Yeah.
Water. Yeah. And it just keeps going back and forth.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, whoever edited or produced this thought this was the slickest shift ever. But it's terrible. It's just god awful. Let's see. What was the other thing that I found?
It is pretty bad. That was good.
Yeah.
I did see that one.
Oh, here's another one. There's a lot of kids in this movie. So if you do the math, these kids are now in their late 20s, if not early 30s. I wonder if they mentioned this to their friends, that they were in a Y2K video as a kid starring Spock.
Oh, my God. That's crazy.
Can you imagine that? You're like, oh, this is Trevor. Trevor was in a god-awful.
If you're an aspiring actor, I mean, do you have that on your resume? You're like, you
do.
I see here that you were in the Y2K VHS warning video with Leonard Nimoy.
In fact, as we're talking about it, I'm going to go pull up IMDb.
See who's in it?
I'm going to find this thing on IMDb.
Your resume says you worked with Leonard Nemoy. Wow. What did you do with him? Oh, it was a smaller independent project.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure at some point somebody would be singing Bilbo Baggins with him too. I mean,
Oh boy.
So
yeah.
You're gonna find out like a 9-year-old Tom Holland was in it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I want to see.
Another thing I have is if you take a shot every time they use the freeway time-lapse stock footage, you'll have a pretty good buzz by the time this is over.
Oh, man.
Oh. It's weird how I turn everything into a drinking game and I don't drink.
I know. Okay, so where's this thing at? Yeah, Fringe. That was a great show. Fringe was a great show.
I never saw Fringe.
Oh, you got to watch
No.
Fringe. Well, he was the voice in a video game called Seaman in 1999.
Nice.
But this thing isn't listed.
Why would it be?
It's not.
Why would it be?
I don't know. It's not listed. That's too bad.
No.
That's too bad.
But the video is like an hour long. It feels every minute of an hour long.
It is so long.
Some of the shots, okay, from a technical aspect, some of the shots in this thing make no sense, and it pisses me off. Like, there's one dude who they're interviewing him, and like clearly everything's shot on a green screen, so you could just put like a generic background, like a something,
like a Paddington Bear or something.
Yeah, something like that. Instead, they have his own face multiple times, looking like he's out of like some sort of Lisa Frank.
Yeah.
So he was doing the Picard maneuver too.
Yeah, he was doing the Girardi.
The Girardi maneuver. Sorry, I couldn't remember. I couldn't remember her name.
I know.
It was like the Ray from Star Trek, where there's just infinite him.
Yeah,
like
they kept doing that. Yeah. They did that in several shots. They did that where
it's
they're like
the same guy. They keep doing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's somewhere like his head is huge.
What is this?
Yeah. It's the same guy who edited the countdown thing. He's like, you like my countdown? You're gonna love this shit.
You're gonna love it.
Yeah,
it's gonna be heads everywhere, man. Heads everywhere.
So that's gonna be the. I took a screenshot of it, and that's gonna be the show logo.
Oh, there you go.
Just that.
Good grief.
Boy.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that Leonard Nimoy was the narrator voiceover for Civilization 4 in 2005, the game.
Oh, huh.
I've played a lot of those Civ games. I've never recall that, but whatever. I'm probably just not paying attention.
Yeah.
I don't listen to any of the things. I just play the game. That's probably what it is.
Let's see. Anything else? Yeah. I mean, if you want to go watch this thing, you can. You know, I don't know how far you'll get through it. It's very dry.
Yeah, I would challenge anybody listening to this to watch the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Just the first 5.
It's definitely funny to watch now in hindsight. You know?
Yeah.
The other thing too is like towards the end, they go down to everyone they've interviewed and they ask them, you know, on a scale of 1 to 5, how bad is Y2K going to be? You know, 1 being like nothing and 5 being, oh my God, we're all dead. And it's amazing how many 5s and 4s that are just given out.
Well, that's how it goes, right? That's how this thing's been treated too. It's everybody. It's going to be horrible and it's bad. Don't get me wrong, but it's you know.
I mean, it's good to prepare, but this show is like overkill.
Yeah.
Were you guys concerned about Y2K back in the day?
No.
No.
Nah.
I wasn't, but my parents bought into it.
Did they?
We had gallons of water and some food set aside, and
we didn't have any of that. Probably should have at least had some bottled water in the garage just for the hell, you know, because if you're out of running water for a day,
we did nothing.
I also live in North Idaho, so that like whole prepper mentality is
it's pretty prevalent. Yeah. Speaking of which, how did the North Idaho? How did the rally with the church go over the last week when the guy who was from the standoff with the FBI in Wyoming a few years back, or maybe that was Washington a few years back.
The Bundy guy.
The Bundy guy. Yeah, that was Ruby Ridge. Anyway, that was Washington. Sorry.
A few
How'd
hundred
that go?
people showed up.
Yeah.
The thing that's kind of more frightening to me is down in southern Idaho. A couple weeks ago, a mom was arrested for taking her kid to the park and letting the kid play in the because all the parks are closed, right?
Yeah.
So they arrested her for breaking that. Well, that guy Bundy and his people found out the name of the officer that did the arrest and showed up at the officer's actual house.
Ooh, that's not.
That's not cool.
No, you don't do that. You don't do that.
I mean, I get protesting outside like the police station, but
Yes.
not the dude's house. That's not cool. So
I do like the armed protesters in Michigan saying, "Screw this, let's just go right into the Capitol building."
that's a little frightening for me.
Yeah.
That they've got giant AKs and all that like that. That's a little much.
Giant AKs.
Yeah. Well, you know.
They have assault rifles, is what you're getting at.
Yeah. It frightens me. I get protesting, but you don't need to look like you're gonna kill everybody. But that's me.
Yeah. There's a line there.
Yeah. Let's see what else from the video. Oh, the prepper says that you need 30 gallons of water per person per month for average use. So that's a lot of peeing. So.
Well, you should be drinking, 80 to 100 ounces of water a day.
Yeah, so roughly a gallon.
Yep. Roughly a gallon.
Yeah.
And if you're going to do a Kevin Costner, you can refilter that stuff. You just got to get a tin can. You just got to get a tin can, a string, a little ball bearing of some kind that does whatever. I don't know what, but somehow it recycles your pee and you can drink it.
Somehow.
I don't know. I didn't quite understand that scene.
Yeah, nobody understands that movie.
I love the movie. The movie's fantastic.
I haven't seen that in years. I should rewatch that.
You should, yeah. It's good.
You know what I rewatched was Terminator Salvation.
Which one was that? That's
the one with Christian Bale.
That's a good movie.
Yeah.
It is.
I remember not liking it back in the day, but like looking back, it's great.
It's good movie.
I didn't like it. I guess I have to watch it again. I didn't even bother with the most recent one. Was that any good?
Genesis? No, I haven't watched that. Is that what it's called?
No. No.
Terminator Genesis?
Dark
or?
Fate.
Dark Fate.
No, Genesis was the one where John Connor is becomes Control, basically.
Yeah.
He's the bad guy, and he's made out of nanites now, and I don't know. I was just like, what am I watching?
I stopped watching the Terminator movies years, probably Terminator 3 was the last one, probably.
Salvation, what I remember about, I don't remember much. What I do remember is there was a TV show on the air that they canceled about 2 weeks before the movie. Yeah, and I enjoyed the Sarah Connor Chronicles.
Yeah, they were pretty good.
That was a good show, and then they canceled it. They canceled it like 2 or 3 weeks before the movie came out. Everybody's wondering, is it going to tie together? Is it going to link up? And no, it's not, because we're canceling that.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, they should have waited to announce it until after the movie was out, but yeah.
What they did with that show is they kind of ignored Terminator 3, and they picked up right after Terminator 2, and there was a time jump. John and Sarah jumped forward in time, so that they're still the same age, but now it's 2009 or whatever.
Whatever it was, yeah.
Whatever it was, yeah.
Yeah. Watching Salvation was fun because it starts that they're in the year 2018, so that's nice.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's nice to watch a historic film. But it was really, the action was good. I enjoyed it. So. Yeah.
I started to watch Chris Hemsworth's new thing on Netflix, Extraction.
Oh yeah.
Started to watch that. My 17-year-old and I were going to watch that Friday night, and we got about 10 minutes into it, and she couldn't take it anymore. It's too violent for her.
Oh, okay.
It is a violent piece of work.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that.
It's good.
I heard he's going to play Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
In a movie about Hulk Hogan's life.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I'm not a big wrestling guy. I mean, I watched it when I was a kid. So, that era, Hulk Hogan and Rowdy Roddy Piper and all that, that's what I think of when I think of wrestling. So I'd be interested in seeing that.
I
I
wonder
think
if
that would be
Yeah.
interesting.
he's gonna have the bald head for that.
Oh, you gotta have the long white hair in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, to put a green skull cap on them, put whatever they want.
Yeah,
There
yeah,
later.
pretty much. Yeah,
I want to know who's gonna play Macho Man because they gotta have Macho Man in there.
yeah, yeah. Channing Tatum.
Could be.
Could be. It could work. You know.
There's a wrestler now, Jay Lethal, who does a dead-on Macho Man impression, but Jay Lethal is black, so you can't really
Well,
have him play him in
don't
the
be
That doesn't matter.
Racist. That
Yeah.
doesn't
That
matter.
doesn't matter.
We can
Stop putting
recap.
people in a box.
Well,
Okay.
So Jay Lethal will sometimes wrestle as the Macho Man, but
Yeah.
he calls himself Black Machismo.
Oh, that's funny.
It's great. It's so great.
Now, did he come up with that idea, or did a writer tell him he has to have that?
I mean, he does it on Independence where there's no writers. So.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
so I guess we're done talking about the Y2K thing.
Yeah,
I
we're done with
guess.
Y2K.
I mean, it was like whatever. So, to the email you got from the guy over in Germany, he's right. You don't necessarily have to be like an avid Trek fan to listen to this show because
No.
sometimes we don't know what we're gonna say.
Yeah. Yeah. So
And
I
now
posted the
you're in Mr.
Y2K
Rogers'
video.
neighborhood.
Yeah. I posted the Y2K video in the Trekcast group on Facebook.
Okay.
So if people want to watch it, they can.
So I posted I shared a photo in the group a couple weeks ago, and it was the photo was taken of action figures, and it was Odo's head in the bucket, and I don't remember what the caption was, but it was a funny photo. It was Odo's head in the bucket, and something like "Keep it down, I'm sleeping in here" or something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Do you recall? Okay.
Yeah.
And it was taken within the bridge playset from the old Star Trek: The Next Generation toys.
Mm-hmm.
So after seeing that, I went online and I bought one of those bridge playsets because I like to take photographs and put funny,
Uh-huh.
funny captions underneath, and that's just a really awesome backdrop to use. So I bought it. It was supposed to be new in box, and it wasn't. And there were a couple pieces missing when it showed up. And the pieces are about as big as your thumbnail, and they're just little clips that hold the walls of the bridge together. So the person I bought it from was an older woman. I know she probably thought it was complete. So rather than send it back and screw her on paying for the shipping twice and refunding me my money, I said, let me see if I can just find these things somewhere else. So the person who created that photo that I posted in the group, they have their own Facebook group called Custom Star Trek, and they make customized Star Trek action figures. They'll take one character, turn it into another. He does some really amazing work. Check it out. Cool, fun stuff to look at. Anyway, I reached out to him to see if he maybe had some extra pieces or knew where I could get them. And he didn't, but he said, check with the guys over at Triple Fiction Productions is the name of the group. And they have a Facebook page. They also have a web page. But what these guys do is they make Star Trek and sci-fi props. They 3D print them.
Oh,
Yeah.
They're not exact replicas. They're inspired because I think they're trying to avoid
lawsuits.
getting a cease and desist letter. So, they do like they have the Doctor Who sonic wrench or whatever. It's not the sonic screwdriver. It's like the sonic. Anyway, and they make they scratch print some accessories for the Star Trek action figures. So I reached out to them. It was not something he did, but he said, you're not the first person to ask about this. Let me look into it. 24 hours later, he had designed them, and they were for sale on his website for about $3.
Huh.
So
Oh, wow.
I ordered a set, and I was so impressed at the turnover time that I also bought a little transporter room console to set up a diorama. So Triple Fiction Productions, check them out on Facebook. They have some really cool stuff over there. And yeah, so I'll take some funny photos with my bridge and post it to the group.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they have a nice website too.
Yep.
Triple Fiction does. And then I'm looking at the Star Trek Customs on Facebook, and they've actually got Hugh, Seven, Elnor, Picard.
Really?
Some unknown reason, Raffi.
Yeah.
But they have all of they have 4.5 inch. They have 4.5 inch characters of all of them.
Really?
And they look really good.
I haven't
Yeah,
been there yet.
They posted it on
Today.
March 14th.
Oh, okay.
They look
I must have
really
missed
good.
that.
Yeah, they look really good. I kind of almost like want a Seven and a Hugh. You know, like that would be. Hugh looks pretty wild actually when you look at him up close. That's pretty good. Huh? Not too bad. Yeah, scribble it up anyway.
I thought Raffi was your favorite.
Oh my lord!
Does anyone like Raffi? Has anyone ever piped up and said, hey, I really dig Raffi? I don't think. No.
I mean, I'm gonna. Can we pause the recording so I can give a real answer and then start the recording again?
Let's instead let's do this. If you're a big fan of Raffi, let us know.
Yeah.
You know what? That inspires me to do a new poll on the group. So
There
I
you
will do
go.
a Raffi-based poll for you.
All right.
Something tells me that'll be skewed because the members of our group who are active enough to answer a poll probably don't like Raffi just as much as they don't like Burnham. But
we did do a poll this last week for Porthos. And that went pretty good.
Yeah.
So
I'm pretty sure he was the goodest boy, right?
Yep.
Yes, he was the goodest boy ever, or whatever it was.
That was funny.
Yeah.
All right, so here's the poll. If you could keep Tuvix alive and bring back Tuvok and Neelix, all you had to do was blow Raffi out an airlock. Would you do it?
Yes. And that's not perfect.
Chad's like, yes, and I would send Michael Burnham with her.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Honestly, out of the two, which one do I like the least? Raffi. I like Michael Burnham more than I like Raffi. I'll just put it that way.
Okay. That's like saying I like an earache more than I like a sore throat.
Yeah,
but,
pretty much.
Whatever.
No. I'm really hoping that they can redeem Michael Burnham's character in season 3. I'm really hoping. Because hopefully they put her in some situations where she can just act. Because she's a great actress. She really is.
Yeah, she is.
I don't know about the.
You know what they say about hope, right?
Raffi's not, but it springs eternal. Yes.
I was going to say, you can shit in one hand and hope in the other. See which one fills up first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But whatever you do, don't put it in a plastic bag because that breeds viruses.
Yeah.
That's right. That's how we got where we're at right now.
And on that
Food in a plastic
callback, I'm going to call it a show, gentlemen.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep. Wonderful. Good way to wrap it up. That was perfect. Because we can
All right,
meander
guys.
forever if we really let ourselves.
Yeah, we will. We will.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
All right,
Hey,
bye.
check out those clips after the show.
For sure.
Yes. I want to hear those.
All right.
See ya.
Well, there you have it, another episode in the can. Check us out at Trekcast.com. Also, if you would, please subscribe to us via iTunes. Leave those reviews, subscribe to us, we'll get some numbers, get up the list, get more listeners, do more shows, have more fun. But for now, we're all done. So live long and prosper, and we'll see you next week.
Do you have medical insurance? Do you realize most of my patients die?
Owen, you're nothing but a big fat bum. Okay, Keegan, you butthead. Let's see you really play this game. Ryan, I'm gonna come out and squeeze your neck. If you aren't good boys, I'll come out and freeze you. Okay, kids, it's time to do your homework.
It's great to be a black man in the 24th century.
Space, the final frontier. Space, the final frontier.
Hello, Patrick. It's so good to see you again.
I'm glad that the two of us are together. You mean so much to me. I hope you have fun. Good luck. Where would you like to put it now, Q? Brilliant, Patrick. Beyond belief, Patrick. Fantastic, Patrick. Well done, Patrick. We will never surrender unless you pay us enough.